All right, 20 minutes after 8 o'clock, let's take you to some big international news. Now, the European heatwave has killed over 1,000 people so far. Thousands of others have been forced to flee their homes as wildfires continue to spread. The latest we have is that forecasters say that daytime temperatures in some areas could exceed 40 degrees in the next few days. Well, our next guest actually had her house very badly damaged in a fire in Croatia. South African Melody van Eeden living over in Croatia at the moment. Hello to you, Melody. Good to have you on eNCA. I'm not sure if you're still South African or if you've changed your nationality, but good to have you on eNCA. Can you tell us what actually happened? What started the fire in your part of Croatia?
Okay, so they are not 100% sure if the fire was started by someone or if it was just a wildfire that, happened. But it ravaged through the entire area. The latest reports say that about 93 hectares of land have been destroyed. Olive groves, vineyards, people's houses. It was terrible. And not to help matters was that it was extremely windy on the day, so the fire was spreading at such a rapid rate.
So we've been seeing reports, Mel, as well about the rest of Europe now getting upwards into the low 30s, high 30s, low 40s as well. Is it feeling significantly hotter where you are? Can you tell a difference? It's much hotter than, say, last year this time.
I would say yes, hotter than last year, but we definitely have had hotter weather in previous years. But currently, it has been very, very dry and very hot for a significant amount of time. Yeah, that's one of the pictures of the village just before it went up in flames. And yes, it was. I've heard a lot of other areas are much hotter, maybe France and that, but we have been in the region of 35 degrees for a few days and looking to be around 38 by the weekend, apparently.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at some of the photos that we received. It looks like, I think it's that three-story house of yours with a plane going over the top, but it's that photo of that orange flame. When I say it looks like the sky is on fire, it must have been terrifying to know that was heading towards your house.
We weren't at home at the time, and by the time we wanted to get back home, unfortunately the roads were closed. The fire had jumped over the roads. The firefighters struggled to get to the village, and it was terrifying. I mean, it was massive. You could see it from all over the area.
What's the reaction like with authorities over there? I'm always curious to see how Europe handles disasters versus, for example, us here in South Africa. Were they quite quick to the scene, or did you have to fend for yourself?
They were quick to the scene. Unfortunately, they couldn't get, the airplanes had started coming over from the early morning. But when the fire started rapidly spreading, the firefighters couldn't get to some of the areas because they didn't have access. The roads were completely, covered over with fires. So it made it a little bit more difficult for them to assist. But generally they are, they are on the ball, and they're quite great.
Just a last question, Melody, hope you don't mind me asking. I believe you do have children. What's the status of your house at the moment? Are you able to live there? Are you having to stay somewhere else? And how are the kids handling this?
So yes, I do. I have a son. There are parts of the house that are still livable. The fire just destroyed one level of the house. But totally destroyed. The glass didn't just crack, it melted. It was, the temperatures in the house were obviously exceeding over 1,000 degrees Celsius. A few rooms, everything is just, the whole floor is just gutted. And then obviously a bit more damage in the house, but one floor is completely gutted.
And Melody, perhaps I will make this my last question, I promise. Is there a concern that something like this could happen again? I imagine you're watching weather reports, news reports very closely. Is there concern you could have a repeat of this?
I think everybody is a bit stressed. However, I think everything in our area is pretty much burnt. So I don't foresee another fire coming in this area anytime soon. But obviously, there were a lot of fires in Croatia at the same time. So I think everybody is just a little bit more nervous, especially with everything being quite dry.
I'm sure they are. All the best to you and everyone over in your part of Croatia at the moment. Melody van Eeden, South African, now living over in Croatia. Very, very lucky is Melody and her family to not have their home completely destroyed in the fire. So unsure at this point what caused the fire, but the warm temperatures certainly didn't help to stop the runaway fires in their area, Tumza. So we'll keep a close eye, of course, not just on where Melody is, but around Europe as well. The UK, 40 degrees in London. It's unheard of.
Absolutely.
At this point. Really.
And I mean, Nandi was also just reminding us that, with the Qatar football event happening at the end of the year, it was moved because of the weather as well in Qatar. So those temperatures extreme at this point.
You can imagine what that's going to get to. Imagine the aircon units that they're going to have. All right, some other big international